January always feels like this strange in-between space. You're looking back at the year that actually was, not what you thought it would be, and at the same time projecting forward into what the next one could be. And there's this piece of advice I see that gets thrown around a lot every year. If you want to achieve your goals, tell people about them. Let them hold you accountable. Hello and welcome. My name is Benjamin Webb. I'm a writer, actor, director, and as I prepare to go on tour this year, I wanted to share some of the things that I've been working on. This isn't a perfect curated list of resolutions, it's more of a public promise. These are things I want to work towards in 2026, creatively, physically, personally. And by telling you, I'm hoping that you'll keep me honest. Alright, 5 goals, let's go. Goal 1, poetry. This one probably isn't much of a surprise. 2026 is going to be a big poetry year for me, especially in preparation for my Poetry in Action tour. But also beyond that, poetry is a form of storytelling I haven't properly lived inside of before. I've performed text, I've analysed text, I've taught text, but poetry asks something different from you. It's about rhythm, breath, musicality, compression, trusting silence, trusting sound. So this year, I want to properly immerse myself in poetry, reading it, listening to it, speaking it, performing it, and letting it stretch how I understand storytelling, not just as an actor, but as a communicator. This one is less about mastery and more about curiosity. Goal 2, Shakespeare. I'm cheating a little bit here because I'm fairly sure I'll end up doing a Shakespeare at the end of the year with Shakespeareans Australia like I've done for the past 4 years, but that's not really the point of this goal. The truth is, there is so much about Shakespeare I still don't know. Every year I realise how shallow my understanding actually is, and how much more there is to uncover. So, 2026 is about deepening that relationship. Not just performing Shakespeare, but studying him more deliberately. Context, structure, verse, history, adaptations. Dad and I have already decided that we want to go and watch the film Hamnet together, which feels like a pretty poetic place to start. Shakespeare through grief, legacy, and memory. It's less about ticking the box and more about genuine exploration. Goal 3, a backflip. Yes, a backflip. This is a goal that I've technically already started, but I'm committing to properly this year. This one's been on my list for a long time. Last year, my cousins took me to Flip Out, which became the very informal beginning of my training. Then, over the holidays in Wollongong, I went to Tumbling and Tricks with Miss Tracy, which, yes, is a very impressive concentration of the letter T, and started seriously working on technique, height, tuck, commitment, all the scary stuff. I love this goal because it's physical, terrifying, and completely outside my usual creative comfort zone. It requires trust in your body, in yourself, in a very immediate way. So yes, by the end of 2026, I would like to have landed a backflip and lived to tell the tale. Goal 4, running/exercise. This one's more about consistency. I've loved parkrun for the past few years, but if I'm honest, my attendance has been patchy at best. Recently though, I've started running again, properly. In the past week alone, I've done 2 runs around my house. One was a 5.4k around my very hilly block, which was about 29 minutes and 30 seconds. The other was a 4.8k along a much flatter route in about 23 minutes and 10 seconds. I'm not sharing those times to impress anyone, they are very beatable, but rather to mark a starting point, something concrete to work from. The goal isn't elite fitness, it's about showing up, building momentum, seeing what happens if I actually stick with it this time. And yes, I'm very much looking forward to beating those times. Goal 5, guitar. This is a bit of a lofty one. I've tried learning guitar before a few years ago with a very specific goal in mind, which I did achieve, but once I hit that, I didn't really have the stamina to keep going. This time feels different. With touring coming up, the idea of having a portable instrument with me, something tactile, creative, restorative, feels very appealing. Less pressure, less academic focus, less achievement focus, more about enjoyment and practice. So we'll see how this one goes. No promises of virtuosity, just intention. Fingers crossed. So those are some of the goals I've got for 2026. Some more creative, some physical, some a little bit terrifying, but all of them honest. I'm putting this out here inviting you into the process, not just the successes, but the wobbles, the missed weeks, the slow progress. If you see me again in 6 months' time and I haven't mentioned poetry or running or guitar, Feel free to remind me, genuinely. If you've got goals for this year too, I'd love to hear about them. Put them in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable. So here's to curiosity, commitment, and maybe, eventually, a backflip. If you've heard me talk about poetry in action in this video and have no idea what I'm talking about, then go check out my announcement video from a couple of weeks back to see what that's all about. Other than that, be well, stay safe, don't die, and I'll see you next time.